Okay, so
I'll do it.
we got Jeremy and Shenley here. You guys,
We'll think about.
yeah, you guys want to move up to the front in the schedule, or do you want to
Sure,
Just
or we'll come back. I mean,
take
and
up
not
the-
that I don't think
the
what you're talking
kumbaya
about is
that we got
important,
here,
but my
Their
day
fault
is
here.
just like super
Okay.
busy.
all right, so let's just,
So I'd be happy to go first.
yeah, Rebecca's on her way. I just got a text from her that she's on her way. So, okay.
Dave, do you need to be
So I'm gonna-
anywhere, or just in terms of thinking about we're being sensitive to Jeremy's time, but does Dave need to be anywhere?
Yeah, we need,
Like, do you want to go?
you guys want to go first?
Trying to get rid of me?
Well, I'm just wondering if everybody's like, oh, does Jeremy have anything else to do today? And so Jeremy can go first, but if you
I
need
don't have
to,
anything, you know me, I don't have anything to do.
I'm sure you do, Dave.
Thank you for doing all the reports.
because you ended up having to leave last time when we were talking
I don't have
about
anything going on.
the Emerald Ash Borer, and it would have been really important that you were here,
I
I
don't
think.
have anything going on today.
Yeah, all right.
Great.
I'm gonna,
I mean, I do, but
Yeah, but you'd like to stay with us the whole time.
so
That's what you're saying.
I miss you guys.
Okay.
I make a motion, we call the,
That's the-
we call it meeting order. Okay, we ready to go? Yes, all right. So Jeremy and Shenley are here to talk about some increased stream protections, right? We have you on the schedule for about 45 minutes. Is that going to work?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it has to be that quick, or that long, so.
Okay.
How does that work?
5 minutes.
I will say that, this was initiated by, I met with Beth and Rebecca prior.
Yeah.
Barb.
And Barb, sorry, I'm sorry, Barb.
Rebecca's on her way,
Yeah.
by the way.
And there was a desire by both Barb and Rebecca to protect streams better than they are. And I don't know, I think we maybe touched on this a little bit before. Streams in the state of Maine are protected by two laws, in essence, the Natural Resources Protection Act, and that is something that protects, well, doesn't necessarily protect, let's say it regulates things and activities within 75 feet of resources, and that's a lake, a river, the ocean, or streams. And streams are defined as, I think it's on a list of 5 things. If you have 2 of these, and that would be, is it show up on the USGS 7.5-minute topo? Is the stream have defined banks? Does the stream have mineral bottom? Is it devoid of upland vegetation? So as you can imagine, that can kind of pick up a lot of streams. That can pick up a lot of water courses on people's properties that
Right.
they may not think are really regulated. Well, they are. The activities that happen within that are regulated. We don't, as a town, regulate those streams. We have shoreland zoning that regulates activities within 250 feet of high water of rivers, ponds, lakes, and the ocean, and then 75 feet from high water of other resources, other streams, those being like Spring Brook. That's one of the streams. That's a shoreland zone stream. I will say that DEP's regulations for their streams that they protect are not very robust necessarily. They allow structures within 25 feet of those streams. You can clear vegetation with really no limits adjacent to those streams within that 75-foot area because they're not shoreline zoning streams. And shoreline zone streams are things that we do. We look at vegetation removal, tree cutting, harvesting, those kinds of things, in addition to when someone wants to build in those areas. So there is and I've been doing this type of work for over 30 years, and I have always felt that, and I agree with Rebecca and Barb on this, that these smaller streams need more robust protection than they get. And I think from my perspective, it's about water quality. These streams drain somewhere, and not only just for the water quality of that stream, but the receiving body of that water. So if you're at Hosmer Pond, for instance, all the water that drains in all these small streams that come off the mountain or come off of the stream that runs down Barnestown Road on the downhill side, very large, beautiful stream, valley that runs in there. There's really no protections, municipal protections for those streams. So there's no vegetation removal standards. There's no lot coverage standards. Like in the shoreland zone, we have a standard 20% lot coverage that can be anything that's not vegetated. You can only go up to 20% of your lot. These streams have no protection at all. So the idea that Rebecca and Barb and I had chatted about a number of times, and this is going back like a while now, was trying to apply stream protection or shoreline zoning protection rules to some of these smaller streams. I didn't want to pick up every single stream as defined under NERPA, because that's that list of defined banks, devoid of upland vegetation and mineral bottom. So anyway, I mean, that could be like a drainage
Yeah.
in someone's backyard that looks like a drainage ditch. And to some people, they are drainage ditches, but they may meet the definition of stream. So the idea was to look at other streams, larger streams that aren't protected at all. And we did this, we looked at it and we looked at the USGS topo maps and we found 3 that are legit on USGS topo. I think that's the 15-minute map. There are 3 that are significant enough. There's a stream that drains off the mountain towards 52 and Tamarack Trail up there, a very large stream that drains into the McGuntacook there.
That's called Bailey Brook.
Bailey Brook, thank you. And then the large stream that would be down on going up Barnestown Road, going towards Hope after you pass the Snowball, that sits down, and I don't know, does that have a
Hosmer
name?
Pond Brook. I think that's Hosmer Pond Brook.
Okay. Hosmer Pond Brook. And then the other one would be, I think we call it Daly Brook, which is drains down underneath Route 1 and into the Ocean Atlantic Avenue. Right? Those 3 all show up on the USGS topo map 15. That is not, that aren't regulated under shoreline zoning. The 4th one that I'm think warrants protection would be the stream. It's a smaller watershed, so it doesn't show up on that USGS topo map, but I think for a legitimate, good, sound reason from like a stormwater management, water quality perspective would be the streams that drain off Thomas Street and Cobb Hill Road, Ames Terrace. There's a stream wetland complex that drains down through there that is significantly altered by the environment, like urban environment, urban activities, human activities. Eroding banks are significant. That whole stretch of stream has some pretty nasty erosion. And without protections, without managing the amount of impervious surface someone can apply to their land, I think the reality is that stream over time will continue to get degraded more and more and more. And I don't think anyone wants to see that.
We did just do a major study that was funded by the NIFWF grant, defining that entire watershed and identifying problems. And
Yep.
That's 4.
So I think that supports some of this, what we're saying.
That's just 4. That's 4.
What's that?
4. We're at 4.
So I'm at 4, looking at 4. And then I think a 5th one potentially, and we had a staff meeting today and Dave and I were chatting about Belmont Ave, the stream on Belmont Ave. That one to me is a little different, although it's significant and needs some management to the watershed because the stormwater volume that goes through Belmont Ave is massive and significant. And I'm not sure just because I just have to look, I haven't looked at it, Dave. So I just want to clarify why I'm saying this. Really want to take a look at that whole watershed and the land uses that are happening there and see how, if we can roll it into the same type of scenario that I'm thinking for the Ames Terrace and Cobb Hill Road Brook. If you know what I'm talking about, if that makes sense to you. And the way that Shenley and I have initially talked about it, and again, this is Rebecca and Barb had brought this up, and this is Shenley and I had, we met multiple times and talked about it and ideas on how to do this. I think it's probably very similar to the stream protection section of our shoreline zoning, where you're looking at like a 75-foot swath from high water, normal high water back is what would now be a shoreline zone stream protection, similar to what we have out at Springbrook. That's the idea. So there'd be a setback from the high water mark. There will be vegetation removal standards within that area. You can't remove a certain percentage of trees in that area in a 10-year period. You can't remove the ground cover within a certain buffer area from high water back. And the idea is to protect water quality, to reduce stormwater impacts as well, and to just the connection, wildlife connection of core stream corridors is I think everyone understands the significance and need for doing that. So that's where we're at right now. And I wanted to chat with you folks about it. And
So your idea is basically just to make sure we add those 4 streams at least, or maybe 5, to the existing laws.
that's what I'm thinking. I think
Shoreline
that's
zoning.
the easiest towards shoreline zoning.
So
No,
if
so
there-
shoreline zoning, if I may, 1 second, I
Yeah,
may
yeah,
answer your question. Shoreline zoning, the state, again, does Natural Resources Protection Act. Town does shoreline zoning. Those are not the same. So someone could get a permit from the DEP under the Natural Resources Protection Act, and they oftentimes come into here. I've been doing this a long time. They come in and they say, I got my DEP permit. We're good to go. And then we're like, actually, you're not. DEP can issue that permit, and you got a permit with them, but you can't get a permit from us for that type of work. And that happens. So DEP does not enforce shoreline zoning. That is strictly a town issue. We enforce shoreline zoning. They administer and enforce NERPA. Sometimes they match up. Oftentimes they don't. So the idea would be to, take those standards and apply it to these other streams. They might need a little tweaking. We have, obviously, there are non-conforming situations potentially that we would be creating where someone may have a house or a shed that might be on the property within a setback that we may want to create a new setback, right? Generally, nonconformities are already dealt with on our code, so I'm not sure if it's a huge stretch to apply new standards to streams. That said, I would like to at some point maybe talk to you all. I'm going to talk to the planning board at some point about the nonconformity section, especially in the shoreland zone. I don't know how to say this appropriately. What happens right now in the shoreland zone, I think this is just more for educational, informational purposes for you. So within Salmon McGuntuck Lake, and I have from normal high water back to 100 feet back, that's the setback, is 100-foot setback. Most all the properties around McGuntuck Lake don't meet that setback. What you're allowed to do is you're allowed to have a 30% increase of that footprint in that setback area, which is crazy in my mind. So it allows people to have small homes or small camps or large camps to then add 30% volume, 30% area to that area. Or they can even
away from them.
Right, but it's still, you can't get closer, but you're still already in violation of the current setback, right? So I think at some point it's warrants, everyone just goes, the state has these mandatory minimum shoreline zoning standards. They say this is what a stream is, this is what this is. That's why these streams aren't currently under our shoreline zoning, because we never went beyond what the state did. No town in Maine has done this. I've talked to the state shoreline zoning person. He's like, I wish some would, because it's a valuable tool that we have to protect our resources. This is one way to do that. And we would just be adding these streams to the shoreline zoning stream protection. Likely, I think that's the best way to do it.
So can we just designate those under the shoreline zoning? How does that, how do we?
Yeah, so we would have to amend the zoning ordinance to include a new definition of stream,
Right.
likely fairly easy to do, other than the one on Cobb Hill, because it doesn't show up on that USGS topo map. So there's some wording that's going to be needed to be wordsmithed appropriately. Yeah, so that's what would happen. We would amend the definition of stream for purposes of shoreline zoning, and then our shoreline zoning map would then change from what it currently is to picking up these other 4 streams.
So there
And that,
isn't-
that would have to go to voters. It goes to a public hearing with the planning board.
Okay,
It
so,
goes to the select board.
yep,
And then the select board holds a public hearing. Then they decide they're going to move it forward to the warrant. Then there's another hearing for the warrant article, and then the voters would
so
take
that
it
would
up.
go
It
to
would go to
vote
voters.
eventually.
Yeah.
If it made it that far.
Yeah.
Yep.
My desire is to try to, and I think this is Rebecca and Barb, we've been talking about this for a while, is to try to get this moving so that it can hopefully go to voters in June, is what we were thinking. I'm thinking anyway.
Can I ask a
Can-
question?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just curious because I hear that and I'm like, wow, that sounds great. And I want to, I'm not building anything, I'm not renovating anything, but as like a person who lives here and cares about that, like I want to help be a part of that, you know? And then I think about how difficult it can be to translate that into easily digestible actions for people who are doing whatever they're doing and might be in violation of this accidentally. So I'm curious about like, do you have any suggestions, and maybe this is too far in the future, but do you have any suggestions about like how to help connect this to making it easy for people to actually follow and implement? And it's okay if you don't, I'm just asking the question. Hired.
No, I mean, other than, I mean, it's like all of our codes are, sometimes they're very complicated, sometimes they're not, and you have to find this section of code and that section of code, and it's very complicated for someone that, it might be a layperson that doesn't go through a code and understand what all this means.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, DEP for a long time used to put out some good publications on like, what is shoreland zoning and what can you do in the shoreland zone? What
Yeah.
can't you do in the shoreland zone? I think it might be worthwhile to do some little publications like that, like
Yeah.
little cut sheets on those kinds of things.
Saying like, you know, if you live near a natural resource, here's what a natural resource is.
Mhm.
Contact the department, you know, contact you.
And
There
that's
are booklets like that online.
and that is
for various
that's
things.
yes, and that's great. I think I'm just thinking about like sometimes there is an over, you just are like awash with resources and they're great, but they're everywhere. You don't know where to start. And I think to your point, you use the word layperson. I could be wrong about this, but I would assume that most people are going to be lay people.
For sure. I
So
agree with you.
just something for
agree with
us
you.
or whoever
Yeah,
to think about.
Everybody like takes information in differently, right?
Yeah.
So some people are gonna be the type of people that are gonna wanna read it and look at it, and figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And then other people are just not gonna wanna read it and they're gonna wanna talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of have like
All
two
options.
ways of,
Right.
two ways
Mhm.
of like getting the message out, you know,
Yeah.
having the information and a link to get to it.
Yeah.
Or saying, if you're in this gray zone of area that you don't know about,
Call this person.
Call this person.
Yes. Yes.
So on top of just the text that gets adopted, we have to adopt the zoning map, the shoreline zoning map. Like this is the official zoning map, shoreline zoning map for the town. So this would be amended too. So everyone that has property, like we could easily do a mailing to
Yeah,
people
right.
that are in the shoreline zone. We can
Oh.
do that. That's easy.
Have
I
to
mean,
open a
I
thing.
feel like, so like public notice to people is when we do public hearings, there are certain notice requirements we have to follow and others we don't. If there's a use that's allowed in a zone, similar use that's allowed in a zone, we don't have to send a notice to every single person if we're changing something, right? But if I'm going to do something, add a new use that is not at all allowed in that zone, it's not a commercial use, or it's a commercial use or in a residential zone, then everyone by law has to get a notice about those zoning amendments, not just posted at the town meeting or posted to
Right.
butters, because there are no butters in this case. This would be who it applies to. So I think we just need to, I have to double check on how we would have to do public notice on that one, but I assume we would want to notify people that are impacted by it.
Right,
I
but-
think that's just the common sense and appropriate thing to do, understanding that not the great majority of townspeople don't live right in those watersheds or in that area that is impacted. So
But they're gonna
they'll
contact the
vote.
code office if they're gonna do anything anyway.
Yeah.
Usually.
they are, and I think
Are they?
If they're gonna do any kind of like building or
Well-
anything like that, there's.
Are they?
building, yes.
Yeah, they
I
really
think
do. They
building,
won't
Well,
argue away with that now.
98% building, yes. But I
Okay.
think what happens is like tree removal,
Yeah.
vegetation
That's the
removal,
kind of stuff I
the
can do.
smaller, the more land
Yeah.
related
Filling,
stuff filling.
here.
that people I think don't think they
They're just
need.
they're just gonna be like, is anybody looking at me?
Right. Or they just don't know. I
And
mean, like,
today
no
they wouldn't
malice
need
necessarily.
necessarily a permit from us, but they may likely need something from the DEP. And oftentimes that happens where the DEP is just never notified of a project because
Right.
they didn't apply for one and they
Yeah.
just move forward with the project.
So how-
I'm wondering if in parallel to this expanding the streams, which I think is completely sensible, if, since we're going through this process, but maybe in parallel to it, when I was reading through the shoreline zoning things, mostly thinking about it in regards to like McGonagall Lake and the lakes and ponds in our town, they were really lame, I thought, and since it seems like it's being abused by people who, buying a cabin and turning it into a bigger year-round home. And that puts so much stress on the water body nearby, which is already under threat because of climate change and rising sea levels and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just wondering if we should take this opportunity to strengthen that, like expanding out of, a grandfathered building by 30%
Mhm.
below.
Yeah, I agree.
How
I
about
agree with you.
0%
I
or
agree with you.
5% or something like that?
Yeah, or none.
Yeah. And just at the same time, like in parallel to this idea and we could just follow it along the same course of action with public meetings, and I had a list of things I did.
Yeah, I think it's all doable. I think we just have to figure out how it works on our end. Like I generally have to have things to the planning board and they have to have their public hearing. It's generally by like mid-February, like early March, because then we have to do, the select board has to do their hearing. And in order to get to June, we end up having to have ballots printed, like ready to go by middle of April or something. So it's like 60 days before the vote. So sometimes it's hard to get there, especially if it's a heavy lift and there's a lot to it. So the nonconformity, I totally agree. And that's something we ought to look at. I think McGonagall Lake and Hosmer Pond both show up on the state's priority watershed lists that's either threatened or they call them priority watershed lists. Hosmer Pond is one. I mean, I think we all saw, I wasn't here, but when the mountain fell into Hosmer Pond, when the town did the redevelopment and it turned green, algae blooms, you look in China Lake, Weber Pond, 3 Mile Pond, Cocknawagan, Maranacook, Cobbessy over on the other side of Augusta, these lakes turn green because of nutrient loading, and it's an algal growth goes crazy. Water quality plummets. The type of fishery there goes away. Property values decline. I mean, there's a whole host of things, and I think that we got to think about these things when we talk about water quality and what we're doing, and why we're doing it. And I think those are all of some of the reasons why we do it. Hosmer Pond to me is very susceptible to, and I think DEP has it on the list as, I think, more than threatened due to nutrient loading and phosphorus loading. So I think there's reason for these things.
But I'm just a little confused.
Okay.
Are you suggesting we do the stream thing, right? Put that up for vote, put that in the process, right? But the other stuff with the shoreline, put more teeth into the shoreline zoning.
Yeah. It would
That's it's all important, but is that
All important. And then I think there's more things on top of it. I think
But
there's
for-
issues with,
for
but the
for
thing-
June?
Right, but the thing is, so since we have to make a decision, since we're gonna make this recommendation, and then it has to go to the planning board, and the planning board has a public hearing, and then the select board, et cetera, we could just do both of them together.
Together, all right.
They're separate things, but they're done at the same, they're going on the same path at the same time.
Is that realistic?
I think so.
Wait,
I did
when you
love
say
it.
both, the stream thing
Possible.
and then
And
what?
and
Anything.
strengthening,
It's
putting
all-
some more teeth into the shoreline zoning.
All or
That
nothing,
sounds like a
Very-
bunch of things, though.
right?
You're talking about adjusting the grandfathered structures by 30%?
I had a list, but
Well, that
unfortunately,
would-
it's on my laptop, it's not on my iPad.
Yeah, I think so, but that's,
It was basically grandfathering the non-conforming structures.
Right.
I mean, like allowing them to be there, but not expanding.
Not
them.
expand that
And-
30%.
There was also a detail about, I forgot the wording I had, but it was,
Okay.
sewer systems, like not letting people expand the sewer system to.
You come in
so
here
enlarge
if
the
you
property.
want. Just move over.
So because it's another thing. And, impervious surfaces, like putting in a big driveway,
Right.
and things, so all that water washes into the lake.
Okay.
Things like that. I had made a list, I had it for my meeting with Jeremy before, but it's on my laptop.
I think there's from a conservation and environmental protection and water quality and wildlife perspective, I think there's a lot of things that we could look at and should look at. I mean, the planning board had we spent a lot of time on piers. I think everyone knows that we had a moratorium, multiple moratoriums. I think there were 3 or something we had it was like it went on forever. And at the time when we were in discussions, we had Pete Slavinsky from the State Bureau of Geological Survey was in, a great guy, talking about impacts of. I'm gonna stop watching and
Stop.
listening.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what's
Jeremy,
going
that was
on.
really distracting.
But one thing that the planning board discussed, and I think, really heard loud and clear from when Pete Slavinsky came and gave a presentation, was the impacts of seawalls on abutting properties and on the environment. And,
Right.
we do need, I mean, it's kind of like a weird thing. I find this, this is a whole side note, but we do erosion control, right? Like there's a reason for erosion control and keeping sediment out of resources. Definitely on freshwater bodies, right? Absolutely. Hosmer Pond, Megunticook River, Megunticook Lake. You got to keep dirty water out of the resource. And then when you get to the ocean, like we put up silt fence, but we also, the ocean like needs this replenishing of sediment. So it's just a weird, sometimes I find it weird when I go to a site and it's like, we're on the ocean. I'm like, you got to put up your silt fence. At the same time, it's like that ocean really wants some of that sediment.
Yeah.
So
They're
it's just
doing it because they're making these walls that are going to forever prevent the
Yeah.
transport of
sediment.
sediment, which is
Mhm.
really bad.
Yeah.
I would very much hope that we would follow up with some of that.
So, and the planning board at the time had wanted to continue that discussion about like looking at these seawalls and armor. And when we say seawalls, I'm also going to include armored banks. Seawalls are the vertical wall. Riprap armor is, a sloped bank of very large rock. You can see it all over Camden Harbor now. And so I think that needs some further assessment on how we handle those and regulate that type of work. I understand that, and the DEP's been trying to do a lot of that lately, and they've done some new rules on, green living shorelines and I haven't followed too much on it. I've just been busy doing other things, but they have some new rules. But there are impacts if I'm going to armor my shore because it's eroding, but my neighbor next to me doesn't, they want a natural shoreline. That impact of this armor, when the ocean currents, drive the force, it hits rock. When water hits rock, if you look at ditches that are rock lined or armored as opposed to vegetated, that water is moving much faster down rock channel than it is on a vegetated channel. It's the same thing on the shoreline where it just picks up speed and it picks up velocity and force. And then all of a sudden that armor here is gone. And it is forced onto an abutting property, and we should regulate and look at that.
It gets behind and
Yeah.
erodes it. And that happens with dams too, when there's too much water coming down.
Yep.
The Conservation Commission was actually instrumental in that whole discussion when the planning board was looking at piers. The Conservation Commission, especially Will Addis, got really involved in this part too, because a lot of the time when new piers are going up, they also armor the shoreline at the same
Mhm.
time. And the Conservation Commission, some of you I think were here then, but they were looking at trying to establish a section of the shoreline as not a national historic landmark, but a natural feature of great significance or something. That we had gone through a list, and there are stretches of the Camden shoreline that are still really in their natural
Mhm.
form. And the thought was to try to, we did it with the piers. There aren't going to be new residential piers on that, the high velocity.
Will be very, very,
Zone.
which is almost the whole, which is all of the outer harbor and
And that,
the
you know,
coastal
especially-
harbor. Yeah.
But the next thing, and the planning board really took this on as they started to research it more, realizing the, you know, the detriment of all those structures. So I think if you were to even just review the letter that the Conservation Commission had sent during the time of the pier discussion, it included some of this stuff about armoring the walls
Mhm.
and the loss of habitat and the importance of sort of that natural coastline. And I
And how does it all interact with rising sea level? I mean,
we're losing, you know, the beach loss is a really big thing with this coastal squeeze. So when you have sea level rise, generally, if you can migrate inward, you know, the high tide gets higher and the low tide also gets higher. So that area that's exposed during the tide cycle. But if the high tides are getting higher and you don't have any ability for the shore to migrate landward, you get this coastal squeeze effect. You can see it really well at Lake Beach now. And so we're over time we're losing beach, whether for public access or habitat or.
and so I'm saying like the non-armored sections of what, like, aren't they even more vulnerable than the armored?
It depends on how you look at it. There are a lot of ways
Right.
that it's complex. A lot of the time what they find is that the seawalls, because the waves hit them and then it sends the energy, in addition to the other properties, it sends the energy downward. And then it has a scouring effect. So it pulls more and more sand. And then, you know, over time leads to actually more detrimental impacts. There are many properties that are putting up seawalls or any kind of armoring as a way of protecting like a lawn. You know, it's there are times when
Yeah.
people need to do something to protect
A building.
a structure, but I would say that the DP, what they just changed is they're not allowing new armoring where there isn't a building within 100 feet. And that was the first step
That's-
toward trying to do this, because people are doing armoring on vacant lots. You can
Vacant
see it in
lots.
Camden. I think that 100 feet isn't a great standard, that instead they should have to demonstrate, an engineer should have to say that there is a structure that is in danger of being lost or highly impacted within the next 3 years or 4 years or something like that. There should be a burden of proof that a structure needs to be protected, because a lot of the time what you have is like it'll get eroded and then the sand will come back, and there's just kind of a natural cycle of the coastline changing. That's what we love about it. It's, you know, it's the bedrock, the broken edges, but so we are going to have a select board workshop coming up with the planning board to talk about a few different
Yeah.
issues. And we just discussed that last night at our select board meeting, and we were all tasked with being allowed to send Jeremy things that we wanted to have discussed in that workshop. So that's
Yeah.
one of those. But
So,
could we go back to the streams?
Sure.
Just a
yeah,
second?
just to go back kind of where we were, right?
Yeah.
I think all this stuff is great. It seems like something we should be very supportive of, right? It's, as a Conservation Commission. I mean, it seems like there ought to be some things we could do to help support it, right? I mean,
Presumably he's here for a reason.
Yeah, I'm here for a reason, because from my perspective, I had met with the former chair, Rebecca,
right,
and Barb before as other chair, and this was something that the commission at the time, leadership of the commission chairs, wanted to move forward.
exactly.
And so I am wholeheartedly behind that and here to support you and here to try to make those changes in the code and get it through the process.
Yep.
So I didn't want this to come from, I think sometimes people see my office, and even though it's planning and development, it's the code enforcement officer is there. And I think they look at us as regulators. And so it's like, well, here's Jeremy again, trying to regulate the town more. And that's not what this is. This is I think coming from the Conservation Commission and from a perspective of the town wanting to protect its valued resources that we have. And I think that's what this is, and I'm here to support that. And that's why I came up with these four. That's why Shanley and I kind of came up with these four streams. I don't think there's any way on earth you could do it using the definition of the Natural Resources Protection Act streams, because we would just be inundated with, we would just be paralyzed, because everywhere is a stream under that definition. Every drainage is a stream. Even the outlet of, if you go down Cobb Hill Road, I mean, this is what's bizarro. You go down, drainage comes down Cobb Hill in a ditch, town ditch, right? We dig that ditch out, maintain it after once it fills up with sand or whatever. And then Cobb Hill comes down Cobb Hill Road towards our, towards the cul-de-sac where Paul Voss's property is, with the little trail up to.
Ames Terrace.
Yeah.
Terrace there, but it's Cobb Hill.
Cobb Hill at the other end. Cobb
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah, on the other end, Cobb Hill Road. And there's the cul-de-sac, but the drainage comes down Cobb Road, turns down Cobb Hill Road, and is in a ditch. It's a town maintained ditch, and it stays in the ditch line, and then the ditch goes away because there's property and it's the forest, and then there's the stream down there that we're talking about. That point, all of a sudden that turns into a stream. So like we have this whole ditch that is like town maintained, and we dig it out, and then at one point, all of a sudden it turns into a stream. I bring that up because I said it earlier, people that think, oh, that's just a drainage out back. That's a ditch. It's just carrying, when it rains, it carries water. Well, if it's got defined banks, it's got mineral bottom, has some aquatic insects in it, it's a stream.
Yeah, it's a stream.
And I don't want to pick up those streams with this, because that would just be a burden on everyone.
Yeah.
We do have an erosion control law in town, or code in town, which requires people to have erosion control up and implemented and functioning if they're disturbing soil. So we do have ways to protect those streams. And if something comes up to us that we know someone's doing something and they may not have a permit with DEP, we tell them, you guys need to stop your work. You need to go get a DEP permit, and they'll give a DEP permit because they give those out, especially if you're not doing structure or doing anything, a structure closer than 25 feet. It's easy. So
it sounds like what you guys have done is great, right? I mean,
I think so. I think trying to
it's-
wordsmith it into the code is what we need to do. And
Right.
I would like to try to bring that back after Shenley and I work on it a little bit, bring that back to you and
Yeah.
say, this is where we
Got it.
are. I mean, I could even do that. Again, just being mindful of your time, our time, planning board's time, and the schedule to getting to June vote. Understanding that like it's already December, right? And January, December is going to disappear very quickly, I think. And then we have like 2 months to have a public hearing, 2.5 months to have a public hearing with the planning board
right.
before we have to send it to the select board to try to get to April, to try to get to June.
Ellison,
A couple just notes on the actual streams selected. I think it's a great start. The only one that really jumped out at me that's not included is Carlbrook, which is quite significant and
Yeah. No,
Where's
you're
that?
right. That's out
very
105.
natural.
There it
and
is.
high,
Yeah.
Where is
not
it?
a lot of developed. That's, it goes underneath
105.
105 as you're going out toward Hope, fairly close to the Hope town line.
That is one.
There's an MDOT culvert bridge minor span. So, they very much treat that as a stream.
Thanks for saying that one.
And then
was it Carlbrook?
Carlbrook, yeah.
That is in stream protection already, Allison, Carl.
What do you mean it's in stream protection?
It is. Shoreline zone stream protection because of the size.
Okay, so that's already,
When I said there was only two, it's really,
Really?
it is.
That was why they were supposed to handle that differently in the culvert.
Well, they had the exact same requirements when DOT did the culvert, when we did the culvert on Jacobs. They made us treat Belmont Brook as a
Yeah.
So sometimes just because DOT treats it as, they're supposed to treat a lot of things like a stream.
The only
But
the ones that we have stream protection is Goose River, right? The
when you
outlet
say
of-
stream protection, you mean it's a shoreline zoning?
it's a
stream?
shoreline zone stream
Carl
protection.
Brook is.
Carl Brook is, yeah. And this is
And
Springbrook, and then we have Goose River, the outlet of Hosmer Ponds.
Okay, so.
Which is mostly all forested.
So speaking of Springbrook, the other thing that jumped out is that there's been quite a bit of discussion about Springbrook needing additional protections. That's an area where many of the landowners would be very supportive and really were pleading with us to do something before, because of some of the development that may or may not be planned. So
Anybody know
that's
what that is?
maybe adding, making that 100
I was
foot.
gonna say, and some of these like that, I think.
That's an
Lawrence-
outstanding, it's been
It is.
identified by the state as an outstanding significant resource, a wildlife habitat. It comes from the state park.
Right.
Trains, and at the point where it drains into the ocean is a phenomenal spot. I don't know.
Which
if
has
you've
just been
ever-
given some
Talk
like
about that
sand dune
later.
protection, actually.
This is Springbrook.
That's Springbrook. So
Yeah.
we should really take a walk out there if anybody.
It's over by the.
Wait, so that is
Haven or
already
whatever it
protected?
is.
but
That one
not-
is a shoreline zoning stream, but it's not so that's 75 feet. It has 75-foot protection right now.
So we could help with the language.
But before I do think there are a few things we could be walking into, like a little bit of a trap here.
Well,
So this
it
is.
sounds great.
You guys, you're gonna, because you're gonna have to defend this. And so.
Yep.
This all sounds great. And as you know, I'm very supportive, but when you start saying that you're gonna, another longstanding issue for Camden, maybe this has been resolved, is that McGonagall River, like the Seabright section,
Mhm.
even like the deep section where it is more like a lake, more like a pond. That I believe, at least years ago, DEP was trying to get us to make that 100-foot buffer to treat it like the lake.
Right.
And the town of Camden took legal action to not have to treat it like that. And it's always, it really should be treated like a pond.
Yeah.
And because when you start saying that we're going to treat the little brook that goes down underneath Jacobs Avenue,
Right.
and people have to be subject to the same restrictions as they are if they're on McGonagall River near Shirt Tail. Also, you're going to have some people saying, well, this is crazy. So we have to, I think we should look at doing what DEP had told us to do before. Is it still 75 or is it 100?
75.
Yep, so we could change that. But then also one thing that I think happens when you add something to the shoreline zone is that it's not just the 75-foot buffer that's impacted, it's actually the parcel located in the shoreline zone that is subject.
I'm trying to.
So what could happen is that if somebody has parcel that is large enough, say, because we're starting to get into the downtown where we're trying to have more housing and things. And so if they have a very large parcel where much of it is outside of that 75 feet, but they want to add some apartments or things, or it could cause their whole parcel to be. And I actually think we should look at that if possible, throughout the whole shoreline zoning ordinance. I know, like, my dad, for instance, on Herrick Road, he's right on the McGonagall River. He has a little garage that would be a great place for somebody to live, but we're in the shoreland
Right.
zone, and there would be a way to actually, so it would be nice if we're going to add a bunch of restrictions to protect the environment, to also, because there are going to be people that are going to say, that are going to be upset by this, to also be giving something to say, we've done something to make it more logical, like protective of the environment, but also if you've got a parcel and you've got stuff that's outside of, it's 100.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I
the
mean?
challenge
What I'm
is,
getting
I
at
do
there?
know what you mean. I think the challenge is we can't be less strict than the state mandatory minimum. And I believe that standard that you're referring to is in the state mandatory minimum shoreline zoning act. And they adopted it and they said, towns, you must adopt this as is, or you can tweak it. Generally, most towns adopted it as is. Some towns still have not adopted it, and the state is The state has adopted it for them, actually. There's a handful of
But how do
towns
we,
like
does the state,
About like if a portion of a parcel is within, any portion of it is within that 250 foot, then that activates that requirement to that entire parcel.
Right.
Is that what you mean? Not just.
Yes.
Since it's outside. of
So
it,
that's
doesn't
what I'm-
The
matter.
part that's outside
Yeah.
that.
even
Yeah.
the
Yes,
part
that's what-
outside of it, which is more.
So if you have a
stringent, I
3 acre
guess.
parcel and 2 of it's in a 250 foot protected area, the whole parcel is
Like, the
protected?
whole parcel.
we look at it, yes. You don't have,
That's not everywhere,
the
though.
standards
Which
don't
is-
apply in that area. Your lot is in the parcel. There's a couple of provisions in the code that refer to that section.
that refer to the
It applies-
shoreland zone?
It
that-
applies to that.
Could you just look into what that, how
Yeah,
that actually
will do.
impacts our,
We'll do.
So what's the next step?
So I think, one of the things I think Allison's referring to too about like Herrick Road is this, and we run into it on Mechanic Street.
Right.
Where someone wanted to, had a garage, big house, garage, they wanted to add a dwelling unit in an existing garage on
Oh, that wasn't
Mechanic
us,
Street.
but-
It wasn't
Oh.
you.
okay.
And I think it was Lyman Morse, who owns for employee, they have employee housing over there. I'm not sure people know that, but they do. They wanted to add a dwelling unit and they couldn't do it because the property lies in the shoreland zone. The
So they wanted
shoreland zone,
to change an existing structure
Existing
into a
structure.
dwelling unit.
they wanted to add a dwelling unit.
Yep.
And the way the shoreland zoning says is if you're in the shoreland zone, you need to have X number of feet per shore, per dwelling unit for shorefront, for shore frontage. So I think it's 100 feet on the river. So if they wanted 2 units there, they would need to have 200 feet of shore frontage.
Right.
They didn't have it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so, like, this is where some of these codes, it's hard to take a code and
Can we
apply it
fix that? That's,
everywhere.
that's exactly the
Yeah,
situation I'm
we can't
talking
fix
about.
that. That's the DEP.
Well, then we
minimum
should change the
shoreline.
state law because that,
I agree.
Um,
So what my solution there is
They
to
probably
try
would,
to get DEP to look at, because so all of these standards in the built up area of towns, like downtown,
Mhm.
you don't have that for dwelling unit, shore frontage per dwelling unit. You don't have a lot size requirement. We have that in everywhere else. But I think there might be room to try to look at portions of the downtown that are already existing developed areas in a highly dense, I'm going to say highly compared to everything else, dense area that we ought to be able to add dwelling units in these types of situations and not have those standards apply. I'll do what I can. I think that makes perfect sense. In this case, what we did for Lyman Morris, we said, okay, this is stupid. It's not our rule, but we can't permit it. So why don't you just add existing living space and a few more bedrooms to that building? Because it's not adding a unit. It's still adding bedrooms and some living space. And that's what they did. So they got the housing that they wanted, the number of beds that they wanted. They just wanted to do it in a separate standalone unit, which we couldn't do. And it sounds stupid, but this is like my
Yeah.
world.
and it could have been
sometimes.
like, as that can all happen as long as a vegetated buffer
Right,
is
in-
maintained or,
increased.
which could
Mhm.
incentivize people to
Right.
replant some things
So
or.
that might be a way to get the DEP. I know that the state minimums are what they are. That said, they do work out, they negotiate some of this stuff. When I was in Bangor, I don't know if you remember a long time ago in Bangor, the Pajajawak Marsh, I don't know, people that are anti-Walmart. There's a big anti-Walmart push up in Bangor for a long time. This goes back to like late 1990s, early 2000s. Walmart wanted to be, super Walmart at a certain location near Pajajawak Stream, which is a massive wetland complex that drains down into the Penobscot River. And DEP negotiated with the city to, okay, this area is only going to be 25 feet. Like the stream protection on this one side of the brook or the stream is going to be 25 feet. This area over here is going to be 150 or something. It was a negotiated ordinance that the state agreed to. So I think there's room for the state to negotiate some of these things, especially if you're doing something like adding improved vegetated buffers. I mean,
Sure.
the impact of the dwelling unit is not great, right? It's the impact of the building is what it is. So if we can somehow require people to vegetate, then
Right.
I think that's a win.
Sam, do you have a question?
I was going to ask a question, but I don't want to get too far into the weeds.
Yeah, we need to
so-
keep
so
moving,
to speak,
but,
yeah.
so what's the next steps for,
We're gonna, Shenley and I will work on this a little bit more. We're gonna dive into that section on the DEP section. What were you gonna say, Barb?
No, I said, I could go, I could.
so you,
represent us to
Rebecca,
Camden.
you're working with these folks too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
I'm happy to step in when and where you're ready.
yeah. We'll
I'll
do
have
that. I think what we'll do is
flexibility
we'll come
over the
up
next few
with
months
what
where I
we
won't.
think is appropriate and
Yep.
what we think you guys are wanting and looking for. And then we can send it digitally to you and we don't have to meet, right, like to discuss it. I think we can send it to you and if you guys want to review it and let us know what you think, that would be great. I also think a list of things that the planning board and the select board can discuss in the future would be helpful from you. And maybe you would just work with your select board liaison, Allison, to do that. Because I'm glad the select board's having a workshop. I'm glad it's not going to be focused on one little thing. And I think having a broader discussion, which can encompass short-term rentals and stream protection and, a whole host of things is a much better and productive time. And
He
so if
tried
you-
he tried to propose just a short-term rental workshop last
That
night at the, and we were all like, let's talk about a few other things other than just short-term rentals. So,
which is perfect.
which is great.
It's great.
So we're going to meet on the, I think it's the 18th of December with the select board and the planning board. The planning board doesn't know that yet. I've got to send them an email. And then if you can pass some ideas, and again, I think it's seawalls and armor setbacks. And I'm thinking of only allowing armor of your shoreland if there's a structure within, whatever standard is decided.
If the
That,
building's about to fall in. Because
else?
sometimes they're just right on the edge of and there's
They are.
bedrock and they're not in jeopardy. And
really quick, Belmont, and I'm glad you brought it up again. I'm not sure of including Belmont in this right now. I think Belmont deserves that area. We really ought to look at impervious surface.
no, Jeremy, I'm going to make a
Just go
really
ahead.
big, that we
Okay.
have the biggest flooding problem.
I
for
know we
town,
do.
100 years.
I know we do.
I do think 75 feet does make me a little bit nervous for some of these, just in terms of
What's already there.
defending
I'm
them.
more worried about
and-
the second part of Belmont that they haven't been developing, the one from Belmont down, where it hasn't been like, there's like that wetland area all in there and.
If we add a lot more water to
Mhm.
that stream,
Alright.
and we've already run into this issue when Quarry Hill expanded, and it's getting, there is a good section of that also on Belmont Ave that is
Yeah.
undeveloped and,
Yeah.
but I agree
Alright.
with you that it's a little, I think for 75 feet, it might be a little bit of a stretch to be like, this
So
is exactly
we'll
like
look at
Springbrook.
it. We'll look at it and we'll look at existing mapping that we have to kind of see where people's existing structures are and like the existing developed areas are in the Belmont watershed and just see what it looks like. Maybe it's 50 foot on
We're
Belmont.
just preventing vegetation removal within
Mhm.
a certain,
And that might
is
be
the
it too.
shoreline zoning
And then we could probably
Or
do that
only
outside of shoreline zoning, just do a
like a
standard.
resource protection?
Resource protection is generally in the shoreline zone, but
Okay.
we could come up with some sort of, there's a way to do any of this actually.
Is it,
As long
I
as we
just
can wordsmith it.
heard that shoreline zoning is adding a bunch of streams to shoreline zoning is the best way, that's fine, but if
I
there's
think-
another tool, then
I think that's the best way, but we'll noodle over another way too.
because are we gonna, if we're gonna catch up a bunch of additional properties in this whole thing where, okay, you've got only 75 feet of frontage on
Oh, yes,
Belmont
I would
Brook,
not, so just let
so
me
now you
clarify.
can-
Let me just clarify. When I was looking at stream protection, when Shenley and I have gone through the code looking at it, we were not thinking of applying all of these types of standards to all of the shoreline zoning stuff to these streams that we're talking about. We're really looking at limiting impacts, vegetation removal, structures, impervious surface within that, what we're calling 75 feet for now. area. That's what we're kind of thinking about. We're not thinking about having it applied since the DEP does not require us to regulate these streams, then all of those other additional requirements in terms of how many dwelling units can you have per shore, feet of shore frontage you have, I wouldn't have that applied to these streams at all. That would not be the case. This would be just
Okay, so we don't have to
We don't
adopt those
have to.
minimum standards just because we
No.
add a stream to the,
correct. Right. If we're adding streams that are not mandated streams, shoreline zoning streams, we can do whatever we want to those and regulate those in however we want to. We don't have to use that same standard.
okay.
Good.
Perfect.
So you're going to get back in touch with us? And then, I mean, we can get together other than during one of these meetings, which is once a month, of course.
Yeah. We can do that.
Yeah, that's no
That
sweat.
sounds good. I will, I'm going to shoot for, I hate to say it. I hate to say shooting for anything, but like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you guys just have to remember that if this is something that you're encouraging Jeremy to do the message has to be that we're encouraging Jeremy to do it. We want this.
Definitely.
This is not us going along with what Jeremy said that he wanted to do. It makes a huge difference to have citizens showing up. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm just
We talked about
reminding.
this in January because Rebecca and I had it as our.
Oh, I remember. I'm just reminding everybody how much of a difference it makes to show up. And that I think even like what Barb was saying about the preventing the expansions and grandfathered dwellings, even if that weren't to make it into what goes in June, there's value in writing a letter and requesting that. And so that, if the select board were to say, okay, so maybe we're not ready for some of this, if there was opposition to some of it or whatever, you could say, okay, well, we'll hold off until November to address that issue. And it could almost be like you start with your big push and then Jeremy can be the compromiser where he's like, well, we'll just bring this part.
So should
Um,
there be a letter from the
Okay.
Conservation Commission requesting Jeremy to do what he just described?
Just, yeah, I think in terms of priorities.
Since you
Sure.
already kind of have
Yep.
something going.
Sure.
And then it would be good to revisit the letters that you sent before during the peer stuff, because that was
Yep.
helpful.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the town. I just
I
will
am
say,
too.
I'm really proud of the town, what the town did with the piers. There's no place that I'm aware of in the state that has done what we have done for piers. Pretty
We've been
awesome.
asked
Great.
to speak about it and to present at conferences on this, and it's being
Really?
used as a model other places. That would not have happened without the Conservation Commission, like helping with the sea change there.
Is it appropriate, if it's appropriate, or is it appropriate for like myself or someone else or two of us from the Conservation Commission to attend the workshop in December to represent the sort of the conservations, or
I mean, it
upcoming
sounds like-
projects and plans? I'm not sure.
We're still figuring out the format.
Yeah, we're still
about that.
figuring out the format and like how open it's gonna be, like
Yeah.
is it like
No, I-
everyone like workshopping everything, everyone that's there? I mean, or is it just like the select board and the planning board
focus of
workshopping
Mhm.
together?
But we'll let you know, but no matter what, getting some words on the record, some, written.
I did tell the planning board at the last meeting, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago. I did tell them that we were working on some of changes like this that the Conservation Commission has been asking for and been hoping for. So I did tell
Well, I
them
think
that they're
it's,
aware of it.
it's been a lot of start and stop and moving parts and too many irons in the fire for all of us and whatever. But with the change with the zoning, or the change with the NERPA and the permit by rule and the general sort of reframing at the state level, I think it's kind of excellent timing. Sort of like, look, this is how it's going to go from here,
Mhm.
like if we can massage and channel this even further to fit our community and our natural resources within it, then it'll make everything more smooth.
Great.
When you start keeping your eyes off of it for a little while and nobody's there to guard the chicken coop, so to speak. you
Well, it's like
start-
a whole other conversation.
I know,
I just
but-
came from 2 site visits on shoreline, so I'm like already like,
I mean, but I guess what I was saying is you just start realizing, like when you go into areas where it's like on on Chestnut Street and Bayview Street. You start looking at it, there's no like land left anywhere. It's like, it's just, there's no place for the water to go. It's just completely, impervious everywhere. And people want to add more impervious to it. And then, you get to a point where you just basically taking away all the natural ability for any water to infiltrate into the ground. And now it's all into the man-made system, which can't handle it.
And a man-made system that I think is going to be increasingly more regulated by the state and the feds. I think that's just a reality.
We put
coming
all
down
a
the
pipe
road.
and then they're going to make you
We're
regulate
gonna, well,
everything.
what's gonna
Right.
happen is either the population's gonna increase or the infrastructure is gonna expand beyond a certain
So we'll be an
level. And
MS4
we're gonna
soon.
be,
I hope
we're
so.
gonna be in
Yeah.
a reclassified
Right, exactly.
system. And,
Right.
and then it's gonna be a whole
Yeah.
other ball of
Then we're going to
wax.
wish we had done this earlier.
Right.
Right.
exactly.
And
All
that's
right,
what all
we
the
got to
towns
get
are-
moving.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks,
Thank you,
Jeremy,
Shanley.
Shanley.
Thank
you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Allison.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to look at a letter? We can talk about that.
Thanks, Shanley.
Yeah. What's
How do
that?
you spell Shanley?
I do have something kind of important I want to talk about.
Well, we're going to do a DPW update, right?
Okay, I didn't know if that was what this was.
Yep, it's a we got the select board update and a DPW update to do.
Okay, so I've got the Emerald Ash Borer
Yep.
component, all the RFP all done. I was out last week.
Yep.
I had COVID, so I was messed up a little bit.
That's not good.
And, I took a chunk out of me, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm still recovering from one in October.
Oh my
so-
God. But anyway, it's all done. I went over it with people that are involved and, at the meeting today, I got, the one last thing was we have to like accompany that RFP with like a boilerplate front piece to that basically indemnifies the town. It's all kinds of legal mumbo jumbo.
Mhm.
But Janice is sending me that today. I'll get it out. I'm going to change the date to somewhere around the middle of December, towards the end of December. So we'll have that. But what I was going to say is while I was out, was with somebody on Springbrook Hill,
Yep.
the area that we were just talking about. If you go down in there, where the stream is, so if you go past Springbrook, when you're going towards Belfast, there's like a field on your right, there's a porta potty there. You can park right there. If you go down the field and then down the hill and to the brook, it's worth going down just to look at it where it enters into the ocean. It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's like a really pretty place. Have you guys all been there?
No, because
Oh,
there's
you-
no public access.
Is there a
Right. I
path?
was like,
There's
'cause I
no,
think
there's
there's
there's no posted signs, and in the state of Maine, we have like a reverse posting policy where if there's nothing posted, you have the right to walk across that property.
Even if it's private property?
Even if it's private property.
So
That's-
where
it's
is this?
implied.
Well, let's not ruin it for.
Well, I know, I'm not trying to make it so they post this, but just what I want somebody here to do, and I can go down with them, is I think there's something going on over there with the ash trees.
Yep.
There's a ton of ash trees down at the bottom over there, and all the bark is falling off of all of them.
No, that's it. We're done. That's it.
Is that what it is?
That's it.
And it's like everyone down there. So it's a classic, I think it's the Emerald Ash Borer, and that's in Camden.
Yeah.
So
So,
where is that? Where is that? I don't know. Where
so I
that is.
figured it's a good situation where we could go look at it.
So can we arrange a time to do that?
Yeah, I really think this was a good thing for the,
It's
like, the
at the
We
conservation.
should
It's
send
where
Rebecca should go
Springbrook-
look today.
Yeah.
I'm already
Up Route 1, I guess.
texting Alyssa. I'm like a little freaked out here, but.
I mean, there's like
I'll just get in the
whole
car.
sheets of, like, every ash tree down there. And there's
Really?
Ash trees this big.
Oh.
Every ash tree down there, the bark is all just kind of like big chunks of like the
The
whole
wood.
half of the bark is just coming off.
Trenches all in the wood? and-
Yeah. So
And it's not on any other tree down there. I mean, it's just the ash.
just the ash trees. So I don't know enough about the Emerald Ash Borer identification,
Sounds like
but it looked like it
Oh.
to me.
I mean, we need to get the Forest Service in to look at it.
Yeah, I'm already on it.
Yeah, I mean, because
The middle of
So I
Camden.
guess that was important information.
There's
it's really important
And I just
information.
kind of randomly came across it.
But- oh,
You should have gone before Jeremy, so Rebecca could have gotten started. That's what.
So anyway, that's and in terms of tree planting, I think we hit the 50 there this year already.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, I really almost didn't try. It was like.
Well, no, you did a lot of work.
I mean,
So did-
it was a lot of work, but I kind of didn't have to like arrange anything. We just kind of did it.
What are the species like? Do you have it broken down?
I have it all
Like,
broken down
But like, is it, can you just give a handful?
of types of trees.
Yeah.
We planted a lot of red maples, a lot of sugar maples. We did some arborvitaes.
Okay.
We did some dogwoods. We did some ironwood. We did some I guess that's
And no more ginkgos?
huh?
No more ginkgos?
No, only one ginkgo.
Okay.
That was the one we planted at the beginning of the year.
Did you say red oak?
Red oak? No, not red oak. Red
So-
maple.
Okay.
Red maple.
No
There was at
oaks?
least one pin
No
oak.
oaks.
There was a pin oak at the top.
Yeah, one oak.
One pin oak.
Are these things that were chosen by the landowners? Or you choose?
We don't let the landowners choose the tree. We
Okay.
choose the tree based on trees that I've been provided by the Conservation Commission, and then I let them choose from that.
Oh,
Yeah, so they choose underwire tree or
Yeah.
canopy tree.
Yeah.
And that's
I
kind
did
of it, right? Or-
hawthorns. I planted some hawthorns.
And,
Okay.
you know, and because the next year we may have total different availability and,
Mhm.
you know, but if you know you're going to have
oh.
20, 25 and under kind of, or 15 and, you know, and then a
When,
standard
when does this
canopy,
happen
and-
in the year? I missed.
We did it 2
Well,
years
we-
ago, but we probably should update it.
We
but
should fill you in on
So it's-
the process.
The climate
Um,
of
There are
trees.
people on Cross Street who wanted
the
two
climate
trees.
of
What
trees,
happened to
not
them?
necessarily-
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
done.
but
We
need to
got
update it, but-
next year. We,
Yeah.
you know, every
Yeah.
year,
They
I've got
asked me
people-
And I
And
say, I
they're
don't know.
I got people that want them, and I think I have their contact.
I want to go back to this emerald ash borer thing. That's like really important. Okay, so
Ryan, we
you're
can
gonna,
go out
Hang
there
on.
after.
what's that?
We've got 5 conversations
So
going
I
on.
know,
so
but
I'm
let-
trying to
let's
take
just
notes,
stay
so-
with the emerald ash borer for a
Okay.
minute. Let's not finish that too quick.
No, I'm
So-
just saying, but that,
So
right now, I'm like,
you're gonna text
I already
Alyssa?
did.
Good. And then, with the RFB, right? We got to put a cover letter on it. It hasn't, does it go up on the town website?
I'll give it to Janice. She'll put it on the town website.
Yep.
I'm gonna send it to the 2 or 3 places that are capable of doing
Yep.
this, and that's gonna be it. And then we'll wait, we'll hear from them,
Yep, okay.
and that'll be it. And then
And
once
then
I get,
once those come in, we'll get a chance to take a
once
look.
they come in, I will probably just send them all to you, like electronically, maybe.
Yep.
And then you can look at them.
Yep.
You know, a lot of times, the way we word things is it gives us the choice to choose.
Yeah.
It's not just about the dollar amount.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
yeah,
So-
because there is some things that certain people could do that maybe other people can't do.
Absolutely. So- And then you need to be included in that discussion in a big
Yep.
way. So I think once you so you got the ball on that though.
I'm not gonna let that drop.
Yeah, no, I understand. And that's great. We really appreciate that. Okay, so when you're ready, let us know.
I'm gonna send that out this week.
Yeah, good.
So,
And then.
what is it, the 3rd today?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it'll
Oh,
probably
great.
be around the 15th. I'm gonna ask for the RFPs to be back.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and then we can get together and,
But we're gonna have to pull the trigger on this, I think, based on what I found.
Wait, did you just say you texted Alyssa
Well,
about that?
but
Or about
my
that?
reaction to
About the
that is,
trees.
I'm glad we are where we are now.
Oh, yeah.
It's excellent. you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
You know, because
In
we're,
large part to your work,
we're-
by the
well,
way.
we're prepared, we're prepared.
We're ready.
Yeah, we're ready. We're
Ready.
almost ready. And that's,
We'll be ready.
yeah, so that, and then, so we can go down there by ourselves though, down to Springbrook.
Yeah.
You said there was a porta potty on the right side after you go past
So you
Springbrook?
go past Springbrook where
Yep.
they did all the work.
Yep.
And there's a field right on the next,
I think I know where it
there's
is.
a pull off right after, there's a porta potty.
It's where all that DPW work happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a porta potty there.
Yep.
DOT, yeah, they.
Oh, yeah, DOT, sorry.
Pull in right before the porta potty into the field and you can park right there.
Yep.
Walk down the field to the right side, right along the edge of the field line.
Yep.
It's pretty steep going down to the brook.
Yeah.
The further you get to the ocean, the less steep it is. If you go down there, you can't miss it.
Okay.
You'll walk down there and then it gets kind of flat where the stream is
All right.
on the Belfast side. And
Yep.
there's got to be 15 trees there that are like, just all the bark is just falling off,
I have,
sloughing off.
I have a question for you. So, especially if this is what we think it is, have you given any thought into finding a place where the town can dispose of dead emerald ash trees?
I don't know. So it's a good point. I haven't thought about this piece of it yet. What happens? So we've got a couple options. You know, a lot of people are going to want that for firewood, let's say.
Mhm.
Right? And I don't know what the regulation is on that. I don't know if we
It's
want people
don't
moving
take
that
it.
around.
No.
I don't
It's
think
gotta
so.
go in a
Voucher.
quarantine area.
So it's quarantine. So like,
Gotta be a
so-
fenced-in quarantined area.
so what I was thinking was we would put that in a location and then we would hire, you know, and this is another cost. It's like, we might have to hire a company that I have to grind that up and then they'll send it off to maybe be burned as a
If it's
biomass.
ground up, it can go anywhere.
I know, but you still can transport this stuff.
Yep, if it's ground up.
So to be responsible about it,
Mhm.
I think, you know, you don't want it going off as bark mulch. Because
No.
sometimes that's what they'll do with the ground up wood after they grind it. But I have all the contacts to do all of that. We might need to just find an area,
Yeah,
a
good.
quarantine area, and maybe something to think about.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it should be
You
fenced
can-
off,
You
but,
can read what other towns.
It
are
says
doing.
it has to be fenced off.
There's,
well, it could be at Public Works.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Because we're a secure
But
facility.
can't the
Could
bugs
be the-
like fly out of it?
It could be the transfer station. The transfer station's a secured facility.
It's true too.
You know, I
Yeah.
could just bring it there. That's where we
Well,
bring everything. And
but-
then
Can't the beetles like hatch and fly
Yeah.
fly away out of it?
I don't know enough
I
about
don't
that
want
piece
them-
of it. So
Well, it's
They
supposed to
have
go in a
regular-
quarantine. If it's already in an infected zone,
Gotta
the
stay in
insects
the
can
zone.
only fly so far. I think it's a
They can't
mile
fly
or something.
Yeah, but
like
they're
that.
not,
2
it's not
miles.
infected
Yeah,
over
2
by
miles.
Lily Pond.
If
and
it's
stuff.
an infected zone, it's infected. I mean, it's like,
but if it's small
Yeah, but
enough
it's a whole
ground,
town.
Yeah,
it can go.
that's correct. It can go anywhere.
But
but-
otherwise you have to wait a year or part of a year and then it can go.
Let's just
It's
ask
not-
the state what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, we can
It's-
ask.
It's on the
state.
public.
Yeah.
it's-
can someone like look into like what the best way to deal with that stuff
Well, we
is?
can deal with them, you know, the Maine Forest Service can educate us on all that
So my
stuff.
options are secured facility, transfer station, Public Works.
Mhm.
I have people that can grind it. And I have all the prices and all of that. It's all set in place. It's what I do at the transfer station already.
So do you want one of us to check with the DEP about the actual
It would be good to
rules?
know
Maine Forest
Maine
Service.
Forest Service.
what they want, how they want us to
Yeah,
handle
sorry.
it. Is there any restrictions and, you know, like,
If you go up on the website, it has all this information, by the way.
So
The
would
Maine
you rather get it
Forest
from a
Service
website
the
or would you
Emerald
rather
Ash
get
Borer.
it from somebody like Rebecca? who's-
There's some variation with different towns, but
I want to know, I want the smallest amount of information to get to the end.
I
I
see.
can't
okay.
blame you.
I don't.
Cynthia, you
I don't
gonna
wanna
check it
spend 3 days researching
Isn't
how to
Rebecca,
grind
I
wood.
can-
you can grind the small stuff, but the
So who's
big
got the
stuff,
ball on that?
it's
Okay, I
different
can do it.
rules.
I don't mind.
I will grind all of it.
You gr-
That's what I'll do with it. I mean, the big
That's
pieces,
not what people are doing.
that's what I would
You
do.
can do that.
That's what I would do
It's okay to
without
do
knowing the
that.
rules. I would just take the trees, they cut them down, we bring them to a location,
Grind it up.
we grind it up, we ship it to a biomass plant, they burn it. To me, that's the safest way of dealing
Yeah.
with it, but I don't know
It's
that.
true.
Actually, burning it is. the
Otherwise you have
safe
to
way.
All right,
depend on people.
Let's keep
more.
moving.
You brought us back there, so.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, so
So
should I go
Cynthia,
on
you-
record as the one that's gonna
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I'm already partway down the rabbit hole.
All
I'll send
right,
that
let
to
me
you.
know. and
Okay.
I will handle it
Wally.
however we find. Maybe it's not that. We might get lucky it's not that.
I don't know.
But good to be
Oh, no.
prepared.
But
As
we
like
need
a,
to
as
do it
like
anyway.
a first step, like even if it's just a,
It's
you
a
know,
trial run.
trial run.
We need to do
Yeah.
it anyway.
Like you have fire drills. Let's do the fire drill.
Yeah, we're gonna have to know what we're
It's gonna
gonna do.
happen.
I think it's that personally.
Yeah, well, okay.
Well, you,
Sounds
dump
like
it all in
that's-
the North
That's a
Quarry.
very common, typical.
I mean, I
sign.
was looking at it going, holy smokes,
Hmm.
like the whole, like the trees were this big around and like the whole bark, like all the way, almost halfway around, like 10
Ah.
feet sections are just like, you could kind of just pull the whole
Oh.
thing off.
it makes.
And then you could see all the little wormholes
Oh,
behind it.
geez.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's a great
Did you take a
Exercise-
picture?
I didn't, and I wish I did.
That's what I said. I couldn't.
I'm gonna go
believe-
down there.
Social media.
I
Grab your
know,
phone,
I
dude.
know. And I was with somebody else, and he's right into the, and we were both like, oh my God, I think this is the
I
MLS
can't
board.
believe it.
Like, I was like, the tree warden didn't take a
Not
picture
public
of
record.
the first
Throw me off the
recordable.
commission if you want.
I let you down. I know, I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
All
I'm
right.
kidding.
We always have that
disgusted
problem with
myself.
Dave with the stormwater and stuff too. He'll be like, oh, this was flooded and I'll be like, do you have a picture? And he was like, no, I was busy fixing it. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You need to allow this. You need to document first, fix later.
I would do the same thing. I would be like, fix the problem, document it.
No, yeah, I can't help myself. If you watch me sometimes, like I'll be like,
Right. Like, no, don't fix it.
Because you're a can-do kind of guy.
I know.
That's a good thing.
I wish I could turn it off.
You can't. It's okay. We don't want you to turn it off.
Yeah, don't, no.
Allison, do you have any quick updates?
Oh, and someone has graciously donated a giant brook trout for the parade. So
But that's not,
nothing to do with us, but you got to see it.
Love it.
It's going to be really cool. Yeah, it's going to be on a float, and it's like 15 feet long, and
Don't spoil it. That's a spoiler. We're gonna go.
We're going to talk
We're going
about the
to-
parade
right.
eventually.
all right.
We're going
all
back.
right.
Off the record.
okay, just real quick, we have gotten to the bottom of the password issue. I'm so sorry. That's
Good.
incredibly frustrating. I finally followed through and sent the instructions and I swear I tested it before I sent that to you.
Yep.
It was all working. And then, somebody trying to probably do their job better, reset the password, and then it got sent to Dave anyway, we now have a new password.
And you've sent it to all
That
of
I've-
us.
No, not yet. I just sent it to Justin and Dave. And I'm not going to announce it, I guess, on the YouTube. I will send it now. And try again. So that's,
Good.
Thank you.
Excellent.
and then we'll just repeat the same thing that we did last month where it was like, try to log in and then,
Oh,
Go
one
from
more thing. So at Steamboat Landing, so this is a good example of how you got to keep your eyes peeled. Like
I saw some big equipment down there.
exactly.
A Euclid and,
this is
so-
a pending like legal action, but I mean,
Well, my point is like if you see something going
oh
on,
yeah, that's true.
and
Say
you-
something.
and it doesn't look right, let someone know.
there's a huge equipment.
Exactly.
Like let Dave know or Jeremy.
Because I was like, I
Jeremy.
called Jeremy. I was like, I don't know, this doesn't, and it wasn't right.
Really?
No.
Well, they were moving some serious stuff. And I walked down there when they were working and I thought it was something to do with the
No, that's what I said. I was like,
DPW
I
or
went, what the
something.
hell? I mean, they had a Ute truck down there.
They had
moving-
Euclid,
moving
yeah.
stone.
Who's doing it?
I was like, oh my gosh, I missed another NERPA application and an opportunity to comment and, but no, they just didn't do any of that.
And then they moved everything off the beach and they're driving the truck down the beach.
Who's
Like,
they?
In a no parking zone
I
too.
don't want to
but-
say. And they are off the Steamboat Landing, all along the beach line, like from here to French and Braun. And with an off-road dump truck
How did they get,
When was this?
at Steamboat Landing.
But when?
This was
it's about a month ago.
a month ago.
Sure,
Yeah.
they're dumping or
They were
taking?
They were
repairing their
dumping
seal.
giant piles of rock and they had moved all the rock off the beach to make a road on the beach.
Oh, my God.
And then they were stacking up rock. And I'm like, this doesn't look right.
Does a contractor who
Wait, so
did
somebody
that
stopped
think
them?
that's right?
And then they put all these swamp mats. You ever see the swamp
I
mats?
have,
And then
yeah.
they put the swamp mats in the like between the intertidal zone. And they're driving along that and they were moving all the rocks out of the way off the beach to put the
Oh my
swamp mats
God.
down. And then they left the swamp mats there. And then at high tide, the swamp mats
Where's
floated
Steamboat
away.
Landing?
Stop it.
And someone almost crashed and the harbor master had to go out and like lasso these swamp mats in. And those are like 4x4s, 25 feet long. And there's like 6 of them bolted together. They're giant things.
Those who need to know who everyone is and is slowly marching through the process, correct?
Well, there's a lot of disappointment around it. You could ask,
Can't
it's being, yeah, but it wouldn't hurt to tell DEP that it might make sense to, revoke authorizations to work in the shoreland
I
zone
was gonna ask
for,
if they were even permitted to, or.
They
certified
weren't,
to
and
do so.
it was the part of the problem is contractors, should know when they're not supposed to do
Yeah.
certain things. And if there's a specific contractor that has repeated violations, because it creates a huge amount of work every time that the town has to enforce something. And so now, because the town is enforcing it,
They'll revoke it.
DEP is happy to see the town taking the lead on enforcement action, but it's a lot of work for Jeremy to do that every time. And so it would be nice if there was some additional, you just have to remember, it's like totally the complaint-based system. And
Just
don't assume that because you see something,
lucky that
like
I
it's-
said something and saw it at the time I did, because it
Yeah.
probably would have all got done.
Wow.
and
That's
now they're going to
incredible.
remove it, but it's like they need a permit by rule to remove it, which is a little bit annoying.
And they only got like 25 feet of it done maybe, and they probably were gonna do like 800 feet of it.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Can they get fined for doing this?
Minimally.
The town could, but every time we do that, it's a consent agreement. The select board has to vote. It's very time consuming. You could ask Jeremy and the communication
So is
around it.
it's on the left side when you go down Steamboat Landing.
On the right,
Right, on the right, where
In
those.
front of the
It's the
condos.
condos.
Under
Yeah.
the condos.
right in front of the condos.
And the permit that they had with the town just said they were going to repair a couple of blocks.
You know how they have a wall like this? They
So
were
you can
banging
do
it up like this.
50%.
Doing it.
If it's less than 50%, you can repair as without having to do any permitting. But so the town is saying, okay, you're going to permit, these are the 4 rocks you're going to put back that fell. But then sometimes they get I think probably what happens is a contractor gets hired and the contractor's like, oh, well, this isn't going to do anything. What you should really do is this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then the landowner is like, oh, that seems like a better idea.
Uh-huh.
Sure, we'll pay you a little more to do that. And there's major steps missed. But
It's incredible.
DEP has an anonymous complaint option on their website.
Huh.
And then Jeremy's always available too.
Wow, that's incredible. Anyway,
So
Glad you
the
get around.
the moral of the story is if you see something,
say something.
say something to
Right.
me, to Jeremy, or whatever.
Yep.
Because we can look into it, Allison. You can look into it, and then if it's okay, it's okay. If
Mhm.
it's not okay, then we can do something before
Right.
it gets really bad.
Okay. You gave us a quick update, Allison. Okay, we're running out of time. We got let's see. We should talk about this Christmas by the Sea float situation.
Okay.
Because that's like important and it's coming right up. Molly's,
All right.
You guys look excited.
Oh, you're really going to do it?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I didn't.
Yeah, so
that's so great.
Barb Olin has generously volunteered her husband's favorite truck.
Oh, that's
so
perfect.
cute.
That's
And
great.
she's volunteered to drive. Is he just like,
It's
I don't know,
He,
get on
he
with
doesn't want to drive
Yeah.
it, so I get to drive it, which is, this has no power steering, and I have a torn rotator cuff, so it's like,
Oh, do you need help? Do you want?
it's torture.
Sam's like, I'm hitting my daughter in the back of this truck.
why does he so much not want to do it?
Do you want me to drive it for you so you don't have
No,
to?
I can-
That sounds terrible. But okay.
I've done it before.
I don't mind help. Like
Barb, you need some help?
it's gonna be going slow.
Dave could drive. Sorry.
I gotta drive another truck.
Okay.
I mean,
Barb could drive that and you could drive the one with the power steering.
I'm driving a truck with a Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
I'm like, maybe I should do that.
Oh,
I got it's not be hard.
how does that apply to the town?
Well, it is from all the way from that lot
Ben and
down
Jerry's.
Stop.
by Rankins. That's where the.
I don't know what you're
parade
saying,
line
but that might.
Staging,
Yeah.
Stop,
staging
Dave,
area.
don't do that.
What's the name of that lot where you line up for the parade?
Tidbits, but everybody's lining up on Union Street this year.
On the street?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
it said that it's the parking lot.
Not
It's-
this year. They changed it. It's gonna be Union Street. That's what Holly told me.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, because it's just, there's so many people this year, the parking lot's too small.
Sorry, where,
You better talk to Holly.
Where
Are you all
exactly?
permitted? Are you all like?
where
signed off?
exactly on Union?
I submitted the application.
After the transfer station,
Oh, okay. I'm just,
between the transfer station and
I've never been in the parade before, so I've never
Are you
done
gonna
it.
be in the parade?
Yes, so she's part of
So
my
split?
cast.
Yes.
Oh, are you guys
Okay.
getting in the truck?
Okay, so listen.
Getting in the truck,
Oh,
Dave.
Buckle up.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
describe
Cynthia,
this.
you got the ball.
Oh, really?
So this is an Emerald Ash Borer campaign awareness float.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's our first step in our involving the public in
Yeah,
the
okay.
campaign. All right. So I have a float, but like I've never done a float before, I have to admit, and I don't know what it's going to be like in the dark. So I'm thinking more and more about having to light it up. But what I have for the float is a tree, an ash tree that's like, I don't know, a bit taller maybe than that picture and has some branches, very crude. It's made out of cardboard and it's like
Huh.
this, and there's going to be a person in it.
In the tree?
A 9-year-old
Yeah.
is the tree spirit.
Which is perfect.
And then two older people.
Easy there, Cynthia.
I'm not
Just
touching
kidding.
that. I'm not
Just
touching this one. I'm
I'm
gonna get
just
in
kidding.
trouble no matter what you say.
We're gonna have a multi-generational float.
Look there it is. Very good. Very, very good.
So,
Okay.
so
That was a
and
quick
we are the ash.
segue.
Okay,
Are you
so,
gonna, do you have like a green outfit?
Yeah.
so I'll show you.
Oh, great.
She's very clever.
So
You want me to bring you some?
I can help you with the lights if you want.
No.
Hear that, Cynthia?
No.
Allison will help with lights.
I've done a float before and had to get my trailer lighted up, so I could help you with some different options there if you want.
okay, so
Needed like an inverter.
ash borer from the front is is in black and with a black head and little red, white, and green antennas. And
Being single forever.
back
You got
Has
heated
a-
underwear or something?
This is
You're gonna be cold.
has a.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
Oh, Cynthia.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So, and you can sort of see the tree there. There's a better picture of the tree.
Wear warm clothes. It's gonna be
So-
really cold.
Well,
Yeah.
as you can see, you can wear like perfectly, you can wear like puffy,
A jacket
gowns,
under
black, as long as it's black. And so then we have the two banners. One says Emerald Ash Borer.
Awareness.
Well, what does it say?
Mine says Camden.
actually?
Stop the spread.
Our-
Cool.
Save our
Saving
specimen ash trees. And then the other one is Camden Conservation Commission. And
That's so great.
so do we want anything else in the way? So I have a light that lights,
Let's catch up.
should light the tree from below. I have
Yeah.
lights,
Yeah, all right,
Christmas
okay.
lights on the tree that run with a little battery. And then,
Have like the injection things that go into the tree.
no.
That's a V2.
Like it might lack a protector of the tree, like the float might need.
Right.
Do you think it should be like, there should be like a person.
Like a
with
shield
Camden,
or a,
like a person with a Camden shirt on and a sword or a shield or something. While the bugs are attacking the trees.
maybe like a shield or something and like, I don't know, like a website people could go to or something, or that would say like,
Yeah.
Oh, a shield with the,
that would say something like a, go somewhere for the more information, like a,
Well, if you find out that this, if you find out tomorrow, this is. Emerald
or
Ash
maybe,
Borer,
yeah, you could confirm.
A little flyer, okay, so a little quick little flyer, it says Emerald Ash Borer has just been discovered in Camden.
Right, you could say like, it's here, like,
It's
Google it
beyond the-
or something. Like, just tell people like,
Information follow or something, because I don't think anyone.
you could just say like, Google the Emerald Ash Borer, it's here, Google it, like, and people will be like, oh,
oh.
I mean, I don't know.
But then that might instill panic.
well, I think we want,
I think what we want them to know is that we've got a process underway to like deal with it.
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
town, But we need everybody to be aware of the threat to their own personal ash trees.
Absolutely.
And I really feel like, is there anybody who could like hand out flyers, like walk alongside this?
that's one of the rules, is you're not really supposed to hand stuff out.
What about
No, you're not.
What
supposed to
about
throw
candy?
things.
Can we throw candy at people so they remember us?
No, that's specifically.
No,
you
that's
can't
very
throw
much a
candy.
no.
You
That-
can't
Have
throw
you read
candy?
that? Have you read the, because kids run out in front of cars to try to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
So-
get
No, it really
two
happens.
people, One on each
Here.
side of the road.
Here.
But if there
Kids
are
have died
adults
or been
walking along
injured.
and-
It's actually been really bad.
The kids won't
Adults
run out.
handing out
I don't know, maybe. they will.
Flyers walking along next to.
Ask Holly, because I've got like, like, that's why I was like, that's a rule, because they are taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You can go see Holly right after this and ask.
I think they'll see the float though, be very effective.
The candy
Okay.
thing is
Just
new
starting to get
then,
people
right?
To realize.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
candy thing, is that must be brand new.
And then
2 years now.
Okay.
Really? Okay, all right.
Some people still do it. They're not supposed to.
Maybe that's.
You could have a megaphone.
Does anybody have a shield?
no,
Heal.
I can check my kids. I actually literally just got
Do you
rid
have
of
any-
one.
Do you have a round sled?
trash can cover.
Oh, yes, I do. Like one of those, like, yes, we have
Flying
saucer
saucer.
sleds. We have many. That's a great idea.
I've
You
got
could, you
cars.
could
can
write
even-
something on the shield, Emerald ash borer protector,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Or-
No, and ash tree protector.
Ash tree
Ash-
protector.
yeah.
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 We're not trying to, we're not trying to protect the beetles.
Well, it doesn't have to-
Be
it doesn't
careful,
have to
children.
say- It doesn't have to say ash tree protector. You'll be just being the protector, but just, it should say, no.
Tree, ash tree,
But we do want to inform people.
the night.
I think you want to,
ash
might want to say
trees.
like, it's your, I don't think you have to worry about instilling panic. I think the greater concern is people not being aware. Like if people are like panicking after this, that would be a success because they will look it up and they'll call the town, they'll call the town office and like the worst case scenario of panic is actually fine, I think.
Yes.
And-
And then this issue is starting. Then maybe for the Memorial Day parade, we can have
There's
a
the
more elaborate
stampede.
situation where we actually have information to give out.
You can have a
People get
big
hurt.
DPW truck with logs in it and,
We could have like
It's
an
worse than
example of
candy.
what a tree looks like.
yeah, because we'll have one
Adults are
by
running
then.
to the
Yeah.
computers.
And I'll remind you guys that a part of the request for bid has in it an area where the person who bids on it's supposed to provide some numbers for homeowners. So
Right.
we got that kind of covered, which is good, Anyway, well, that's awesome.
Yeah, good job, Andy. Thank you. Cynthia.
Thank you for sticking with it.
Yeah.
That's
Good
wonderful.
idea.
It's quite a brave float considering it's going to be like 8 degrees out.
No, but we can all dress up warm.
Yeah,
So.
we can.
So when you get to the top of the street, we just drive home.
Are you guys gonna be in this too? No?
Barb, does your truck have a cigarette lighter charger in it?
Yeah.
Does it?
Oh, it doesn't?
So you're gonna need a
So
generator.
we can't do the.
You need a little
light.
generator.
Then we have battery operated lights to put around the edge. I have battery operated lights for the
I think
tree.
it is, but I don't know if it works. I'll check with them and I'll let you know if it works.
Let me know if you guys need anything.
Yeah, Dave.
I,
can
I,
fix
we've
it.
Do you
got
want
some,
to, do you want
I
to be
have
in it with us?
some power, different,
I'm gonna be in the parade.
different
Oh, that's
power
right.
options.
I'm driving the truck.
Because we have a thing
Okay.
that plugs in the lighter that you
Works. Yeah,
But we have a pretty.
don't have a
powerful-
lighter.
I was gonna drive the fish, but I was like,
Nah,
but
No.
they
I
on
gotta be,
there
like,
have some
neutral.
light.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just figure out if your cigarette lighter works. If
But,
not, then
I was gonna
I might
have-
actually have
I was
a
gonna ask you guys to
battery
do it, but then I was
backup
like,
thing
well,
that could be,
all the
you can
other
plug
tires.
things into.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Have both.
I just have
Now
to
you have
experiment.
this and that,
Some
which is
will
even
have
better.
just like now
So,
they have their
yeah.
own little battery pack.
Good.
I just
Oh,
have one
yes.
bias.
Fabulous.
All right, Brian, you
Okay.
gotta keep this,
I
you
think we
gotta
have
keep this,
some of
you
those
lost
too.
control of the meeting.
No,
Brian.
I know. I'm losing control of everything.
I think we broke Brian.
I don't know. I need a drink.
Just don't do it.
Oh, I
during
always
the
need a
Zoom
drink.
meeting.
That's not an
We need like a
excuse.
social, we need like a party
Yeah,
time so we
no,
can
I'm
get it all
gonna-
out of the way and then we can have like a business meeting.
Discussion about the
So
Zoom.
we need a dog whistle or something.
Yeah, we should.
I think we got we got to get an update from Beatty. She had a conversation with. Is that okay,
Well,
Beatty?
Yeah, at first I did
With
some-
Nancy Johnson,
I
right?
did some phone calling. Obviously, I'm for organic applications for residents at least, 'cause
Yeah, but that's good.
So I wanted to find out about it. So I called the guy who inherited Tree Keepers, which is Maine Tree Keepers, talked to him, tried to get a price out of him. He was nice and
He's the guy that purchased the business from
Well,
Nancy?
part of the business. I don't think
I'm
he
so
does
confused.
everything that
All
they
right,
do.
okay.
But they're
But that's,
they're finished and they have offered, and Nancy brought over all this paper. And
As she
so
does.
this is an explanation of what they do.
right,
And there's copies, but not enough for everybody.
this is,
Well, let's invite him to just come and give a brief overview at a meeting sometime.
They're volunteering to, if ever the Conservation Commission in the town want advice, they can give free professional advice without, so,
Mm.
you know,
It'd be
you don't
great to
have
just
to
have
use
the
them.
owners come.
But anyway,
Well,
I'm just.
I can
I'm
fill
just-
you in on all of that.
I'm
We
just-
invited
Well, let's
them.
see,
and
Nancy and Dave, Nancy or the new owner.
Which one?
Is this Nancy?
Okay, see, I started with another piece of my message and then I got shifted.
This is what this, Petey, this is what this group will do to you. You get going on one thing and then you're going over here and then it's like, oh my God.
On one hand, Nancy and Doug. On the other hand, what are emerald ash borer people doing around the continent?
Right.
With triavastin, which is the alternative organic.
Yep.
Okay, so I did a bunch of phoning on that. My first phone call was to the tree keepers guy who does it locally, because I hadn't talked to him. And then I started calling, well, before that I called Bioforest, who makes this stuff. Very nice guy who's good at telling people how it works. And that's his job. So,
Yeah.
anybody can talk to him. They're in just south of, they're over the border in Canada, Sault Ste. Marie. So I said, well, what towns can I call to ask how this worked, who've used this stuff? So we can tell residents that there's this thing that the town's doing on the public trees. And then if you got a tree, you have a choice, and these are your choices. So that's what your education
Yeah.
group is going to be responsible for, is that stuff. So I haven't heard back I called Green Bay, I called Montreal, which is great website, look it up.
Yep.
And I called St. Louis, which had it, they've been doing it for years. I don't know if they're still doing it or if they've given up by now. But you can find stuff on the website, which I can send you, or you can look for it. And I couldn't get to the forester because they were getting their storm right there as we spoke. So I said, well, maybe I'll call you tomorrow while we're having our storm. And it was all very convivial and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I encourage people to do it.
That's great.
So I'm working on that and I'll share whatever I find. There's a lot on websites about what people are doing to the wood, which is pretty important.
Yep.
But okay, the other piece
So
is
just not to confuse the issue, but the tree keepers guy uses this stuff, right?
Yes,
Okay.
What's
he's
his
got the
name?
European certification. And this stuff is certified in Europe.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, the United States is very stiff about not regulating things that they should be regulating. Canada's better, Europe's better. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Yep.
So this stuff is Canadian, basically. Lots of towns,
me.
all Ontario, all along the river,
That's
et cetera, have been using it. The other piece is tree keepers who are retired and want the Conservation Commission to know, even if you don't want their advice, this is all public.
Well, that's what they said to you, though,
This
right?
really talented business,
Right.
which isn't working anymore, can be consulted. And they were doing it as the Conservation Commission for decades. So they've already been the tree people of town. So Nancy brought over stuff, and one is a sort of introduction. I didn't have time to read it. Another is what they did as a business. And it's probably pretty much what the new guy's doing.
I mean, their website says they took over the they own the business now and they're doing.
They kept consulting, they're just.
But it would be great. I feel like it would be nice if the people that bought the business could be their own spokespeople,
I don't think he has everything that they did, but he's maybe duplicating it. He's
Would
doing
he
it
be,
himself.
would he have any interest in presenting to the?
left my hearing aids at Thanksgiving and they're coming back on Friday, but it means I miss a lot of what particularly women say. Sorry.
Would he,
It's worse,
oh,
much
really?
worse.
Oh,
So she wants to know if Andrew would come, and do you think he would be interested in speaking to
I'm
this group?
sure he would.
Oh, well, cool.
So
This is
good
Andrew or-
information
yeah.
for the public presentation things,
Yeah.
because we've always said all along, people who.
your microphone is off.
Whatever they want to do. You know, they can
Exactly.
give them all the options that there are.
But
and
it's
explain
in
why.
our interest to tell them what they can do, to tell them about the options. Because using the organic is generally better for the environment than not using it. So private people can choose. It
Sure.
may cost a certain amount more because, and this guy may charge a lot.
It just seems like we could
They
ask
do
him.
it around the Canada, they do it every 2 years. And the stuff that the town and the state are using is every 3 years. So there's going to be a cost difference there.
So, okay, so then the stuff Nancy gave you, right?
Yeah.
Is that information on Drazen or is it general
No,
information, what they
no.
do?
No.
I mean, I think
No,
it's
really about their
their
being
business.
consulted.
Yeah, it's great that they volunteered to help. I think that's wonderful.
I mean, if you know, they'll be around for a while, a few more years. So.
Allison?
And they have a lot of experience.
Yeah, Nancy has been very, very helpful to me in the past, especially when there were specific trees that were in danger of being cut down by the town or by others. And she can be really great when you want to say, what's the history of this tree? And she'll dig up the whole story, and it's been instrumental many times.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say that I think it would be nice to just, if we're going to try to present, I love the idea of the compromise kind of between the organic and the recommended version of being that the Conservation Commission makes available information about how to do the other thing, but it would be, rather than having Nancy be the representative for that, it's the practical part of it is having the actual answer about, okay, there's this company. We've identified that they're certified, if that's true, and then having them be their own spokesperson, so they could just give a quick overview.
Yeah.
This is the service we provide. This is how much it costs.
Yep.
It feels like,
Yep.
rather than, Nancy does consulting now, but the business that provides the actual,
Send them an RFP.
They're not,
yeah, but
they're not asking to do anything about tree vasting. They're saying we're available in the future for consulting.
I think, right, I think that's great. It's
That's
just
all
that,
they're saying.
that Nancy was highly critical, coming to the select board meeting and at other times, and it's a little bit frustrating, because a lot is being considered, and so rather than the theoretical, well, there are all these other options available, it would just be nice to have the concrete data from the person who actually provided, and that.
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe we can invite,
Like, make sure that we confirm with the current tree keepers company, this is a service they offer, and that we can point them, people in the direction,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and, you
Well,
know,
the-
know that we can consult Nancy for things.
You're also going to have other pesticide questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Emerald ash borer is not the end of pesticides.
maybe
Right.
after, by the next meeting, we might know
You're going to
who's
have other tree
going to be
questions.
doing
I
the election.
totally
and then
get it,
who's-
it's just,
Who is either that person and or anyone else who can treat these trees. We can
Right.
ask them to come to like the January meeting and give like a brief, these are the things I provide,
Absolutely.
so that we have the information for the public.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
just say thank you.
Yep.
That's all you have to do.
We have to say thank you to them.
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
you should
definitely.
Say thank you.
say
did
thank
say-
you.
I have said thank
Definitely
you.
tell her thank you
I don't.
from everyone.
I mean, we've used them in the past for advice, and, you know, if we need their advice, we'll ask them.
Yeah, but you see, you have a town that existed for decades
Mhm.
and they have served for decades.
I mean, I've used them recently for all
It's-
kinds of
It's like
things.
the garden club.
They are the reason, can I just remind everybody, we
Establishment.
did invite, Nancy is the reason that the Conservation Commission that I really pushed to get the Conservation Commission started again and to have them be responsible for trees. And we invited Nancy to come and give a presentation of all the past, everything she thought was important to carry on. Some of you were, the Conservation Commission at the
You weren't
time,
here
a
at
few of
the
us, I
time.
think some of you weren't here, but it was, Nancy is responsible for a huge percentage of the tree preservation efforts from the past.
Mhm.
A lot of the ideas, like when I remember her telling me, the Conservation Commission is supposed to be the tree board, Allison, and she showed me all these documents, and I used that to convince the select board this should be one of the primary goals of the Conservation Commission and blah, blah. So it's very true that she is responsible for a huge amount of the success. And that's why we did. And she was invited to give you could watch it on YouTube about everything Nancy thought was important to pass on. And we can still use her as, Nancy is not unappreciated.
I have an idea. How about if on the Arbor Day celebration, we give her an award?
That's a
or
great
a
idea.
That's a great
recognition?
idea,
Yeah.
Kathleen.
And then
Yeah.
that'll be the closure for.
That would
That's
be
a
right?
That's
really
great.
thoughtful idea.
She
And then-
deserves that.
Okay, so,
What a-
because
what
we
a
want to
great
have some
idea.
award things at that
You
presentation.
know when I can tell it's a really good idea when I take credit for it. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm doing the minutes and I'm
That
going to
was
put
a
in
wonderful
Kathleen's.
That's okay.
That's a great, yeah.
I had to lighten it up a little bit.
No, definitely.
good
No
idea.
laughter.
We're
Yeah.
planning Ash Street.
Great idea.
Is there anything else, Speedy?
No, I'll try to
So,
spread this around.
yeah, if you want, you can give it, you can give it to, I'll take,
You can ask-
I'll tell you what I can do
You
is,
can ask them to scan it and
yeah,
you
that's
can ask
what I was
Janice
just
to
gonna say.
scan
I
it.
can scan it and send it.
No, wait. why should she
I can
pass
turn it
around
into
and
a-
whoever wants one takes it?
Yeah.
I can turn it into an electronic thing. I can even take a picture of it and send it.
That
They'll
would be
do it
great.
super fast.
That's what happens when you scan it.
And then people could use it better. in that.
My scanner's got a personality.
Um,
I hate it.
Character.
Yeah, a character.
Opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear you.
Okay,
I
Um,
just keep it.
so we got a few minutes left. And Kathleen, Kathleen and Molly, did you want to give us a quick update or, okay,
First, I forgot to add this, is the Arbor Day Foundation grant to get recertified as a tree city is due on December 31st. So I've been working on it.
Yeah.
It's very basic. I do need that information from you, Dave.
Yeah,
That, so I don't know if we could just sit down and get it, but,
you gave me the sheet, right?
okay, yes.
I'm gonna put it together.
Okay,
And I'll give it to you in electronic.
okay, great. Thank you. It's pretty straightforward, especially since it's like the, 28th year or something? And I did get the materials from Samantha, who moved to California. So I'm just sort of recycling that. One thing I noticed is that once you get recertified, you are then eligible for the Project Canopy grants. I don't know about that, but I thought maybe it's worth looking into some other grants to do our sort of public component that we've been talking about.
yeah,
To get some funding for possibly a coordinator, to get, help some money to do a good website, all this sort of public face.
Right.
That I think we really need
Maybe the
more
Emerald,
of.
Emerald Ash Borer stuff, maybe?
Yes, definitely. And the other thing too, related to that, to this like public component plan, is that Molly and I were talking, and we really are going to target with existing campaigns that we're doing already. And the first one is Emerald Ash Borer, to try and get volunteers to work on that topic. And then the next topic will probably be the poetry thing, but to not invent new projects, but to have
yeah,
like a campaign that sort of fortifies our efforts anyway.
right.
So in order to do that, we need your help in suggesting at least one person that we could possibly contact that would be part of, potentially interested in tree corps, joining it as a volunteer, as a sort of citizen force that will work with the Conservation Committee to expand our reach, really. And I know that Rebecca suggested her daughter, which is great.
Yeah,
And Molly
Gabriella?
and I were just talking and
Yeah.
we're thinking, we'll send out an email, right, Molly, about to everyone here.
Just as like a reminder, if you can.
Just think of,
send us back some contact info for a person or two who you think might be interested.
right,
From each of us.
yes, yeah.
yeah,
And then we're going to try and have an informational kind of, this is what we're thinking of doing, meeting in mid-January maybe, just to see who shows up and talk about what this potential tree corps would be. And then we can also talk about the issues of EAB and the poetry thing, to have it grounded in very specific projects
Right.
that people could volunteer.
that's a
And
really good
so-
idea.
So that's the update.
What about the suggestions that have come up before, like the Julia and a person from the school?
Right.
Have those been?
I haven't done that. So if you know specific
I don't
people,
know that we have, that we ever like posted the exact contact information.
Somebody had an idea or said that they knew somebody from the schools, was it Rebecca?
it was, I think Rebecca's daughter might have a,
We'll send the email. just
Right.
Like nudge everyone, not just,
Yep.
you know,
And-
sort of like throw a name out, but here's a person.
Here's their number,
here's their
you know,
email.
so
Okay.
we can get like maybe 6 or 7 people to come to this meeting and of different sectors, like the school, the lot, you know, like different
Yeah.
parts of the community.
Right.
And how would you do you have a succinct description of?
We'll send it in the email.
Yeah.
Okay,
that'd be a good idea.
so you're going to send us an email.
Yes,
Yeah.
to
Then
get
we'll
suggestions.
solicit some folks that
Or-
we think might be interested.
Or you can just give us the contacts and then we'll
we
touch in
can-
touch
we
with
can
those
do that.
people.
Yeah, whatever's. best for
But,
you.
or what,
I mean, if you want to,
Grease
if
the
if
skids a little
anyone,
bit.
yeah, if any, send us the
Right.
info, we'll do the outreach. But if anyone wants to sort of do a warm
This is-
handoff and just
this is
like
exciting.
FYI.
yeah, that'd be great,
that we have
actually,
this
because
information.
for somebody to get an email out of the blue is not always, they'll just
Should the
ignore it.
shield, should the person protecting the ash tree on the float?
Do you want
say
to, you want to speak?
Yeah,
Camden
okay,
Tree Corps?
we got, you could. There's a lot of-
Oh.
There's a lot of
Like
information, I
that,
guess,
the
yeah.
shield says Camden Tree Corps.
Yeah.
We might want
Oh.
people, like, if they're
Ooh.
gonna look something up, if they're actually
They-
somewhere to go.
right,
like
yeah,
the
We don't have
might-
much
I don't know, we might wanna
infrastructure
start
I
yet
like
for
that.
that. but-
Conservation
No, but they might
Commission.
be going around town saying, what's the Camden Tree?
And then they're gonna, but then they might Google it and they just want, we just want them to find.
I
the
think you put
Conservation
some,
Commission.
maybe whatever the contact is on the shield, like the website or, tree
Right.
protector and the website.
Maybe suggested when you guys figure out like what the tree core is, blah, 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 blah. You could have a little blurb on the town website under the Camden Conservation Commission
Right.
that maybe would be nicely to get Janice, ask Janice to
Mhm.
stick on.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
like a
yeah.
2-sentence or 3-sentence thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Anyone else?
So
definitely,
then if someone does Google it, they find that.
right. Yeah, no, that's good, that's
It
great.
can always be a.
Because,
lesson.
yeah,
So this, the data for this
Audubon, not Audubon, listen to me, Arbor Day
Arbor Day
Foundation.
Foundation, Tree City Ask-
Recertification.
recertification asks for a lot of information. One of them I need help from you folks is, I don't want to just swag it, is volunteer time hours. And I know you guys,
Yep.
I know everybody here has put a lot of time into this, but so if you could think about it and just kind of send an email,
Okay, with what we
To-
think our hours.
yeah, to Kathleen and copy me, and
All right,
then that can be what we put in the report.
could
Because you
be-
guys put a lot of time outside of here,
For the
Everybody.
calendar year?
and I
Is
don't
it-
know, huh?
Is it for the calendar year you need the
Yeah, for the
total?
calendar
that'd be
year.
like Emerald Ash Borer, anything to do
Yes.
with tree.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything having to do, because volunteer hours are like recorded.
Yep, okay.
So if,
Even just talking about trees is
Yes.
volunteer.
no, it's legitimate and it's
Right, yeah.
real. It's
No,
not
no.
made up.
All this time is a
Yeah.
volunteer hours.
So we could add
talking
up
about
all
trees.
of these
Be
weekly,
the
right?
stuff, the tree tagging stuff, whatever.
Yeah,
But I would rather you give us the hours outside of the meeting.
Yeah.
Because we can just,
Feet on the street hours, like time
Yeah,
we spent
yeah.
researching.
I mean, we can easily come up,
Calculate it all, so save you the work.
okay, yeah, I
Don't-
mean,
You don't need to be
yeah, you're right.
tabulating
I'd
things,
rather
just-
you do it, all of it.
Yeah.
So who do you
So-
want to send it to Kathleen? Is
Or
that
Just send it to, I mean, you're putting it in the
Kathleen's
report.
doing
Yeah,
the
or
work.
you can, I mean, this is all the statistic stuff. Yeah, send it to me.
I mean,
Sure.
I-
So we're
yeah.
gonna send you hours.
Right,
So each person will send their hours.
right.
Their hours, how
Okay.
many hours total for the whole year you think you worked on anything to do with trees?
Okay, got it.
That helps me a lot. That's
Okay.
one thing I don't have to try and figure
Need to
out.
help
And
you.
then you're gonna send me this filled out,
I'll
right?
give you the other
Okay,
stuff.
okay.
The only question I have is like tree maintenance, but I mean, I think that's anything outside of pruning.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
That's watering and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I just had two questions about the grant part.
Mhm.
You have to attach your community current public tree care ordinance.
We have that.
Okay, and is that, well, we can talk. There's just a couple of things up here that I can't figure out how to get. So I think the only other quick thing I have is the date for poetry is possibly May 23rd, which is a Saturday this year. Because
It's
we
good
had,
to do it on a
we
weekend.
talked
Better.
on doing it on a Saturday.
That's a Friday. No, it's
Oh, it
not.
is?
No, it's not. Never mind.
Okay.
Don't listen to me.
What, are you using
So,
the Gregorian
um,
calendar or
Shut
something?
up.
That was the coolest thing this year. It really was. It was so cool. The
Oh,
gong, all of it. That was really good.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
really well
man.
done.
Oh, yeah.
And
Kindergarten
we're
has
just,
another poem.
I mean, we had
She
talked
might.
about whether we should have it out at school or back at the park.
Thought
So
the
we can
park
think
was
about that.
Really
I can
awesome.
try and reserve the park library connection.
Nice
and then we
it's
could always
downtown too.
We
I
could,
think
we could have it at the
that's
Snow Bowl.
It's nice.
Well, it's nice you can just walk to it from,
Oh,
you
that's
can
true,
have all the
yeah.
people.
I think if it's
I
on a
love the park
Saturday, we'll
there.
get more people.
Yes.
Really
There's
nice
also the
at library.
discovery element. People walking up and down the street might stop and say,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where's
We
the,
had
I mean,
some of that.
snowball's great.
Yeah.
Snowball
Uh-huh.
is great.
Snowball?
Don't listen to me. But yeah, I think
No,
the
you're right.
walkability.
I think you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
agree.
Sometimes I'm right about one thing.
Okay, because
So,
Beatty has one more thing she wants
okay,
to say
great,
before.
thanks.
In the packet from Nancy, there was 3 pieces or 4 pieces of paper. And I'm making a packet for you to reproduce and a packet for Kathleen to put in education or just have in your own heads. So one thing that she really wanted to emphasize, because maybe you know about it, but there's a registration system at the Board of Pesticide Control, which it behooves people concerned with pesticide contamination to know about, which is you can sign up, say that I own a property in this town, and I need to know, I need to have complete notification if anybody's gonna do anything. The glitch in it is that it includes organic. Organic people feel uncomfortable about it, but, I mean, the sprayers, there's one guy who's.
So is it in the whole town? Or you're in a
The thing is, if you're organic, okay. you
It's
know,
still a
you notify
pesticide, though.
your-
Yeah.
Your neighbors, but then everybody knows that there's organic possibilities.
We have a
Look at
pesticide.
it as-
We have a pesticide ordinance.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do, that you have to,
It's already,
Right. it's
Captured in that.
embedded in that.
yeah.
but that's if a commercial applicator is gonna do
And
it.
even though Tracy
You can
has,
sign up with the state as well. And the thing that's nice about that is that they're used to, at least in bigger towns, they're used to referring to it. So they just stay away from you.
mm-hmm,
You know, it kind of helps reduce the more toxic stuff from happening. So it's good, you have a town version of it.
They can't even do anything without you sign up or notifying the others.
right.
Right.
But this sounds like it's the whole town, right?
Right, so part of this packet is about that.
Okay,
And I'm done.
all right, so I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn the meeting. We can continue to
Second it.
talk a little bit. Second it?
Second.
So we off the